We got an important injury update today regarding Talanoa Hufanga, the San Francisco 49ers All-Pro safety who missed the second half of last year after tearing his ACL against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, this is some good information and kind of also a look into the mindset of Talanoa Hufanga and how he's attacking this rehab process. But it's really good to hear from Talanoa, first of all. And number two, it's much better to get an idea of what he is targeting and when he is attempting to return to the San Francisco 49ers. And he said something that was very interesting about the starting position and if he'll get it back. I'm going to show a clip right here, and then I want to talk about it in more detail on the other side.
Try to be smart with it. We've had plenty of conversations with the training staff and putting me in the best possible situation to succeed for myself, and then try to help the team as well. So,
looking back to last year, kind of what was the emotional toll of having the injury and then seeing the team go on to the playoffs and the Super Bowl and not being able to be a part of it?
To me, I think it would be a bad spot for me as a teammate if I wasn't happy for everyone. I think that's when we sat down at the beginning of the year. Our goal was to go to the Super Bowl. Was it to win? Yes. Did we come up short? Yes, as well. But for me, it was a spot for me to learn and truly appreciate what it's like to give myself to the teammates as well as a leader, learning, teaching, evolving. I wasn't there for the whole time because I did have my surgery and I was away from the team. But when I came back, it was like, how can I be a bright light, a great resource of teaching guys and understanding different concepts. But we came up short, and our goal is to come back this year with a chip on our shoulder and win the big one. So.
Is it hard for you to be patient about coming back? Obviously you want to be smart about it, but is there part of you that's like, man, I want to get back out? How do you balance that?
Well, as a competitor, I would love to say like I want to be out there right now. As my knee goes, like it's just a slow progression. So, you have to hit the stages and check off the stages and check off the boxes before you move to the next one. But I do wish I was out there right now, and I can't wait to be back out there. I tell the guys that all the time, but being patient is a big part of this process for sure.
How do you go about when you can't do everything physically you want to do to get ready for the season? How do you mentally try to get yourself ahead of the game so that when you step on the field next time you're a better player?
The amount of film I watch is, I'd probably say, second to none. That's one thing I just pride myself on is just, I wasn't the most athletic person, so being one step ahead in the film-wise and on the field, it's all a mental game to me. So really just taking all these reps that these guys are getting, put myself in the position, what I would do different, what I would do to emulate some other guys that have made great plays during camp. I've watched George Odom go out there, Jair Brown, like the plays that they make, how can I make those plays? Or how can I learn from their game? Or how would I change some stuff? But for me, it's just being a student of the game and really learning and evolving and trying to be the best version of myself to help this team. So.
You've been able to add more upper body strength, even though you're obviously rehabbing the knee. You have more of an opportunity to work some of that?
Definitely. I say I try. I'm not trying to be too bulky to where I can't run around, like I said. So, I've actually maintained my weight. I think that's the biggest thing is I play heavier, so I'm natural. Like a lot of safeties are probably like that 215 and under. I probably play around like 217, 218. And sometimes I'll play higher than that or actually a lot lower. So to me, it's just a chance to stay in shape. I got to still get in shape. I can't come in here and tell you guys I'm running around yet. I'm still working on that. So, but trying my best for sure. And then cool thing, I really went back and I try to find like all the snaps that I played with Tig. Not saying Tig is, I might not, my goal is to be a starter. And a lot of people just automatically assume, this year that like you're going to be a starter. My goal is to be a starter every year. It's a mindset, but you have to earn it. And so I'm in a position where I'm coming off injury. It's not just earned. So it's not given. I have to earn it as well. But I'll go watch the plays with me and Tig and see how we work together. We've only had limited snaps preseason or a couple in the regular season, but it was something that I want to know how Tig thinks, how he looks at stuff. So it's really cool that he came back there today and watched and kind of looking at how we would see things on the field. So.
Yeah, he is angling to be back week 1. Now, I think that's a good aiming point. He isn't locking himself into the expectation that he is going to be ready for training camp. I would assume the hope is that he will be as ready to go to participate as possible into training camp. Maybe they hold him out the first week, bring him on slowly throughout that process. That remains to be seen, but he did say he is aiming to be ready to go, full go, week 1 of the regular season. And compounded with that was also the fact that I thought this was pretty, I think it just shows like the emotional intelligence of Talanoa Hufanga to not, this is an all pro player. This is a guy who has really ascended really early on in his career after being a 5th round draft pick out of USC. And for him to kind of have the wherewithal to just be like, listen, um, I don't like, and I think he said it in the most humblest ways. Like, I don't expect to get the starting job back. I want to earn it. I want to earn that job back. And we know, there were reports earlier in the offseason that the 49ers were talking about bringing Justin Simmons in potentially to sign. They did bring in Justin Blackmon into the facility, but it did sound like that the 49ers wanted Blackmon to compete for the starting job. Blackmon didn't want to do that, so he went back to the Colts. But I think that's kind of the theme, and I think that's a really cool aspect of Talanoa to just, openly say that. Like, I want to be the starter. That's the goal, but I understand I have to earn that. I have to earn that right to be able to, line up against Jair Brown or with Jair Brown in the regular season. So I thought that was really cool of him to say. And obviously, with his whole injury situation, it's been challenging because, like he was talking about, he's working a lot on the upper body, but he can't get too bulky because he still wants to be able to move really well. But the way that he's kind of supplementing, being able to do the work is just getting in a lot of mental reps. And he did mention that he's like, I've never been the fastest guy. Like, that's just never been part of my game. So I try to be ahead of the curve mentally so that I'm reacting quicker, putting myself in a position to make plays rather than having to react and put myself in position to make plays where you can make up ground by maybe, let's say, being a little bit more twitchier or faster or what have you. So obviously, with everything that Talanoa Hufanga is working on, it makes sense and the timeline makes sense. And for me personally, this is a player that I'm rooting for, like, very much so. Not only because I do think he is a good player. I do think he can find himself in the crosshairs in certain situations, just like every player. They make mistakes, or play out of position or what have you. His tend to get highlighted sometimes a little bit more so than some. But regardless of any of that, this is a guy that I root for. This is a guy that I want to be successful. This is a guy that I want to be around. I want to be around the San Francisco 49ers for years to come. I think he's made of the right stuff. I feel like he's a just humble leader, a glue guy inside the locker room. I had the opportunity to talk to Talanoa Hufanga at the Super Bowl for like 6-7 minutes because there was an open portion to the media where you could either go to the podiums or they had players sitting at tables. And because he was injured, he didn't have a podium or a table. So he was just kind of floating around. And I was like, dude, is that just Talanoa Hufanga standing over there, like in the corner? I was like, I said, what's up? Dapped him up and just super chill, like super, super cool. Recognized me, was like, said, what's up? And we just talked for like 6-7 minutes. And he's just a guy that you want to be successful. He's a guy you want to root for. Obviously, we want to put the best, 11 on offense and defense that we can. And if he can get healthy and he can get back, he is absolutely one of the better safeties in the league. And so if you can get him out there on the field, that would be, in my opinion, the best case scenario for the San Francisco 49ers. Allow Malik Mustafa to continue to evolve and learn and grow into his role as a rookie. Don't put him out there too soon. Let him soak it up, kind of like Jair Brown did, and let Jair Brown and Talanoa Hufanga go out there and cook. And again, just like Talanoa said, he's got to earn it. And I respect that about him. And again, it just makes me want him to be successful. And so I love that we heard from Talanoa Hufanga today. And because I saw the narrative turn on him this offseason, I wasn't a big fan of it, especially for a guy who's rehabbing and trying to get back. But hey, maybe that's some added motivation in the tank to be able to prove a lot of people who were really quick to be like, well, let's move off Talanoa and go get someone else. Now, I'm all for adding as much talent as possible to the roster to have the best roster imaginable, but I do believe Talanoa is a part of that recipe. So good to hear from Talanoa today, and hopefully we get him back before week 1. I want him in training camp so we can get him acclimated. Jair Brown, Talanoa Hufanga, I think could be a really nice duo. But you guys let me know what you thought about Talanoa's update in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.